in his TED Talk, psychologist and author Dr. Guy Winch talks about how we are so quick to run to emergency or just give any attention to a broken leg. If we break our leg, we don't just wish it to be better. We actually go and get help. Why don't we do this when we have an emotional, a mental issue that we're dealing with? And welcome to the UnFamous Human series that we have with our special guest. We've been interviewing, this is our fourth installment with Chilo Sicairos. We have been talking about entrepreneurship. We have been talking about addiction. And this is our second interview regarding depression. And if you missed the first one, go over there and see it. You're going to love it. And of course, right now we have to give a disclaimer. This, we are not doctors. The information we're sharing right now is from our, personal experience, from Chilo's personal experience, and it is for you to be inspired. If you feel that you are going through depression, please, the first thing you need to do is go to a doctor. But if anything that he shares with you here inspires you to seek out that help, that's the purpose of this entire series, is to make sure that people, to just become more aware of what everyday human beings, you probably hear a lot of celebrities now talking about it too, but this is something that as a society we just need to continually create awareness. So, welcome. This is MrsDiazTalks.com. I'm Teresa Alvarez-Diaz, and I welcome you to this special interview with Chilo Sicairos. Chilo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I know you're a very busy person. So the fact is that, if I hurt my arm, I'm gonna go quickly and get help. But we don't do that when it comes to mental health. It took you a year to finally realize that you needed help, right? That's what we learned in the first part of the interview. It took you a whole year to finally say, I'm sick and I need help. And you got to that point, and praise God for that. So you went to the doctor, just kind of like a little recap. You went to the doctor, you were taking meds, that wasn't working for you. That's where we left off. What happens then?
Yes, when I started having all the side effects from the drugs, I realized, that I wanted to look for a different approach, seek different ways of doing it. My wife, as good as she is with research, she started, researching and looking to see what options were out there, and we found that that we were able to talk to some people. And one of the great things is that she was doing her research. She had already kind of found that there was a natural approach, and the reason she wanted to do natural or like a lifestyle change approach was because she was scared that if they diagnosed me here with like real clinical depression, they're gonna keep me on meds, and it seems like they don't let go. They just want to keep you on meds all the time. We've seen friends and heard stories, and so she got scared. And then our friend of ours, our friend Cheney, he's a nutritionist, great guy. He is awesome. That guy is our good friend at church, Seventh-day Adventist Church in Calexico. My wife got in contact with him and started asking him about what approaches were out there to treat depression, with like a natural approach with more food, diets, or with like lifestyle change. So the first interview I had with him, I had not slept for maybe like a week because of the side effects of the pills. I still couldn't get. I had really bad insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I was super anxious. I was really not dealing with the illness very well. Wow. I was so scared that I was going to get stuck, because somebody had the nerve to tell me, that you have depression, it's something you have to deal with for the rest of your life. I didn't want to hear that because it stuck in my mind. Another thing that the negativity that stuck in my mind that I kept revolving in my mind was that, you have to take pills. It's the only way to get out of it. If you don't take pills, you're not going to get out of it. And I was kind of believing that. And that was tormenting my mind. So when we went to Brother Cheney's, we went to go visit him, and we went to talk to him, and he tells me, so tell me, what are you going through? you know, my everything, you know, the history of what I was going through, my insomnia, and you know, how I was anxious, I was very depressed, I was emotional, crying, and I just was losing it. But tell me before that, what problems did you have? One of the things we found, that he found, and that he connected to my depression was my indigestion problems I've had all my life. You know, constipation. And he addressed that. He says, hey, wait a minute. So you're telling me you had depression? You had a constipation in your life. And then he says, okay, so you have that. How about, have you been sick to your stomach anyways? Yes, I was about 3 months ago. I got really sick to my stomach. They gave me some pills, you know, antibiotics. I had to take a treatment. Did you take probiotics thereafter? And I said, no.
Wow, yeah.
He goes, don't worry, I was very sick like that about 15 years.
I remember that, because I know him, yeah.
Yes, he was really sick, so he says, I was just as bad as you. I got so sick that nobody knew what was wrong with me, and I had a gut problem. And so when I finally figured it out, by this time I almost wanted to commit suicide. I mean, I didn't want to live. He goes, it was bad.
Wow.
So I know what you're going through. When he told me that, he goes, I know what you're going through, and I know you're going to be okay.
Oh, wow.
Those are the best words I had heard in like several weeks, you know?
Wow.
I had not heard anything. Like, that's like you said earlier. People know that you kept your foot off. Don't worry, we got prosthetics for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's real positive.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. And the person doesn't see their leg is cut off, and they're like, yeah, but the doctor says they're going to put a fake leg on, I'm going to be okay. They're happy.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they go through some depression also.
Yes.
But in the overall, there's so much support.
Yes.
There's solution.
Yes.
I felt like nobody was giving me solutions. Nobody was helping me.
Right.
Nobody was letting me know I was
like,
going to be okay.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
You know, just
and it's in your mind. You got to figure it out. You know, people were very like that. And one of the things I couldn't find. I went to a counselor, and he kept telling me to go and take antidepressants. And I didn't want that because of my experience. So I'm like, no, I can't. I don't want to go through this system or this style of remedy. I want something different.
Right.
So I continued. We kept looking, and we found Dr. Nelly in Sacramento. He has a depression recovery program.
Yeah, like a 10-day.
Yeah, like a 10-day. Oh, it's like a little boot camp. They make you exercise. They made me exercise 3 times a day.
Wow.
They changed my diet to a vegan diet. They detoxed my body really well. He made me skip a meal. Like I couldn't have dinner. He says I was overweight. I was at that. I thought he was crazy when he said I was at 175. He said you need to know 160. I said what? How are you gonna be able to do that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it worked. As we started doing the program and we started learning the things, and they had a psychiatrist there to talk to you, Christian psychiatrist. You have a pastor who talks to you, and all these things that I was starting to listen were starting to give me some kind of hope.
Right.
And then being surrounded by other people that are also ill, and they were also trying to get well. And then hearing the testimony, some of the people that were there, that were volunteers now at the program, were ex-depressed people.
Wow.
So for me, that was like, okay, all right, we found a place that believes that I can get well.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get stuck in my depression.
Right.
So that's one of the big things I did. That depression recovery program with Dr. Nelly. There was there 2013 is when I was there in February, and we did that for 10 days. Come back home, I was a lot better. Wow. There's where they did that. Remember I mentioned in the other interview that they did a evaluation on me?
Yes.
And a psychiatric kind of evaluation where I was at.
Yes.
On both, I was off the charts. I was like right at the top on both. And I think I had the highest score. You don't want. I'm not proud of that score ever.
No.
That's what I'm never gonna be proud of.
No.
So I was the highest in my class. I wish I had A's. You know, in school I always wanted to get A's, and I was always the second or third best in class on a good semester. And so now I'm the best in this. And I'm like, oh, man, this is not what I want to do.
So you go through the program. You come back home, and you know, I'm sure it must be difficult because there you're taken care of. You have all this attention and everything. You come back home.
Yes.
What do you have to do?
Okay, now when you come home
to continue that.
Okay, you continue with the program that he gives you. Is a lot of exercise, keep a close eye on your diet. It connected again with your digestion. Make sure that your stomach's working right.
Yeah.
You're not constipated, intoxicated, because all that affects also your chemistry in your body.
Yeah.
And how he was saying that our stomach is almost like our stomach is like our second
brain. Yeah.
Because our brain depends on our stomach to be fed, and if you're not feeding them the right things, and also add other factors. I was borderline diabetic. That was a thing. Later on I found out that maybe my testosterone levels were low. So dehydration came into play also.
Right.
So you add all these factors, and they will take you to depression.
Right. And people think that because they drink a lot of water that they're hydrated.
Oh no, you gotta take electrolytes.
Thank you.
Especially when you live in a desert like ours.
Exactly. You have to take electrolytes. People don't understand that. I didn't learn that until recently. How important it is to actually have water that is really, beneficial. Not just, you think you're drinking bottled water. It has to be water that has minerals in there. Correct. To really hydrate you.
As simple as you might say, but Gatorade and all these or these other electrolytes are real expensive. It's as simple as getting some water, a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon.
Right. I think people used to do that, like
back
in the day, right?
Yes.
Old school. All you have to do that, and I do that now. I do that really now, and it's really.
And the water, a nurse, a friend of ours, told us that when you drink water with lemon, especially first thing in the morning, it helps to clean your liver.
Yeah, I've been doing that for like close to 3 years now.
Correct.
That's what I do every morning.
Yes.
So I do every morning.
Yeah. It's about what I've learned in this process. It's a 5-year process or experience that I've had, but it was a good year that I was in a really dark place. As I started practicing all these different lifestyle changes. And another thing that they drilled on us over there is positive thinking.
Yeah.
Positive thinking. Keep working on your thoughts.
Yes.
Make sure that your thoughts are positive.
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier also in the other interview that I kept faking it until I made it. Because that's one of the things one of our pastors said. You keep going forward. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Keep doing the best you can.
Yeah.
And things will change. And it did.
Yeah.
And for me, thank God, 5 years later, I can actually talk about it without crying.
Yes.
I couldn't do it for about a year or so.
And I think that is just a victorious, place to be. Where you're like, I feel like I've accomplished something that I set out to do, is just to be better.
Yes.
And it happened, because let's just kind of like put this in perspective for people. One, you decided to ask for help.
Yes.
Right?
And
even if you get people like you shared with us in the other interview that might have laughed at you still kept on, you finally reached out to your wife, which I think was the one that finally, says, okay, we need to get this thing rolling, right? And you begin to seek out help, and you go to the doctor. Very important, go to your doctor.
Yes.
And there's not only one path. And I think that you shared that with us.
Correct.
There's other paths. There's a lot of good science backing the fact that if you change your eating habits, if you change your lifestyle, that will also bring added benefits to your health, your mental health especially.
I think it's very important to stay proactive and not stay quiet, because you and I were talking earlier. In silence, there's a lot that can go wrong when you stay quiet. Because now you think you're the only one who's ever gone through this. That nobody else is going through this.
Yeah.
And the more you talk about it, the more you realize, hey, people start saying, hey, I'm going through the same thing as you are.
So tell us, I know we were talking about in between the scenes that the first time you publicly spoke about this, what happened?
Oh yes, there was a church and I asked for prayer. There was about 4 people that approached me after church and said, I'm going through the same thing.
And they were males, right?
Males, and there was a one female too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I think I approached you too, and I told you, you know what? I'm so thankful that you're talking about this, because we go through these things and we never talk about it. We don't want other people to think that there's something wrong with us. Correct. There's a stigma that there must be something wrong with you, because you're feeling this way.
And the great thing is that I started talking. It's like the load was lifted off me. Yes. You know why? Because now I didn't have to hide it. I didn't have to game plan on what to say, what not to say, where to go, not to go. you know, I was able to just be myself.
Yeah.
And people knew, and if they had a problem with it, I said, well, you know, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I do? All I can do is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find help as best as I can. And I was supported, and I realized how many great people I was surrounded by.
Oh, amen.
Your family was one of them. You guys came to our house. You guys even gave us monetary help.
No.
And I'm a prideful person. My wife, she knows, I cried. Every time somebody would come and bring me help, because I was at the moment, I was self-employed, we were going through an audit, $18,000 tax audit is what I had to pay.
Wow.
On top of everything else that was going. I couldn't work for about 3 months. I had to go pay for that program. We really went through a little type financial stress.
Right.
But so many people were there.
Wow.
All my friends and brothers
Wow,
from
what a blessing.
church were there. I mean, sometimes we think by being quiet we can solve it, but I realize that you're better off talking.
Yeah.
And letting somebody know.
Yeah. Because you're not
People
only
are gonna help you.
and helping others is just part of being alive. And I think that the more you have, you know, because I know that that's what you do. You help others. That's who you are. You know, when we started this whole series, this interview, you know, you've always had that desire to help others, and that keeps you, you know, alive.
That's good. That's what the Bible says.
Exactly.
Better to give and to receive.
And I think that now you have had this special privilege to have experienced something that will also be, I think, of so much use to you in your helping others, you know, and I think that that's...
Even my own family, because I think this is hereditary, because also they say that's, in our family, my mother's side, there is a lot of depression. When I told my aunt, for the first time, I told her, hey, her name's Josefina, Josefina, you know, I'm going through depression, it's really bad. I don't even know what to do. I'm just reaching out to let you know, what I'm going through. Oh, don't worry, son, you're gonna be okay.
Wow.
You know, it's in our family.
Wow.
You know, we're always, there's so much
But we don't
depression in
talk
our
about
family.
those things.
And we don't talk about it. So then when you start talking about it, you're gonna get some real information out.
Exactly.
That's gonna empower you to stay proactive so you can get healthy.
Exactly.
And that's what Dr. Nelly would always talk about. He goes, I don't have exactly your solution, but you need to get informed so that you can find your information.
And I think that's
your solution, because all of us have a different thing that brought us here.
Exactly.
It's not a same path that takes us to depression.
Exactly.
But once you're there, you need to find your way out.
Exactly. And you know, I think that's the message that I would like for us to leave with our audience, is the fact that, you know, this is your own personal, you know, struggle. And, you know, just because, you know, whatever you did worked for you, and I was like, that doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to work for everybody. But it is, you know, an eye-opening experience to say, hey, you know what, this individual was there, you know, and they got out. And it's just a message of hope and a message of saying, you know what, you can take control even in the darkest moments, simply by opening your mouth and saying help. So, Chilo, again, thank you so much. This is our part 4. And I don't promise that this is going to be the last one, because Chilo has so many amazing things to share with us. And we are very blessed I'm very blessed to know one of these, you know, unfamous humans who is a blessing to everybody.
Being too kind, David.
Huh? No. It's from the
Just
bottom.
trying to read myself.
I want you to.
I want to present
It's who
to the audience that I just want to be of help if I can.
exactly, and thank you. I mean, just by giving your time, and really, it's not easy to share, and this is why I commend you, because I know it's not easy to share, you know, something so personal, and I think there's a lot of people who are going to not only be blessed, but they're going to be helped by your experience. So
and I hope that there are people that are listening. You know, anybody. If you're not the one, just seek help for that person, because sometimes they don't know. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. Yes, exactly. and there is help. My wife was one that reached out for me,
yes.
and she was such a blessing in my life. And I think we all need that. So now I try to also stay proactive. When I see somebody who's going through something, I try to go talk to them, approach them, and give them some words of encouragement, and let them know that hey, it's going to be all right.
Yeah. And you know, maybe later we can talk to his wonderful wife. Isaura Sicairos and get her perspective from being, the spouse of somebody who is going through depression. I think that she would, and she's been helping us with all of our technology these past few interviews. Thank you so much, Isaura. We really appreciate it. And to your girls who are wonderful and loving, and they like to share their space. This is one of your kids' homes, and we're able to enjoy the taking here. Again, as always, we remind you to elevate your frequency, whatever that is. If it is meditation, if it's exercise, if it's prayer, breathing, as I've told you before, don't forget to do it to help yourself. Elevate your frequency so you can live. I'm Teresa Alvarez-Diaz from MrsDiazTalks.com, inviting you to subscribe to our channel, to like this video, comment, share it with other people so they can also find hope, which is what we're sharing with them. Yes. And we bless you, and we'll see you next week. Take care, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Blessings to everybody.